They are some really good quality mushrooms and they'll make an amazing meal. In this video, we'll quickly cover off the stages of growth from primordial formation to pinning, the first flush and the second flush. These blocks on our left are our commercial blocks and these blocks on my right here are our boxed farms. Now, believe it or not, these commercial blocks have about 80% more substrate in them. We usually aim for about 5.5 kilos in here, whereas this one's only 3 kilos. So you do get a substantially larger amount of mushrooms out of these. They're just no frills. You don't get the box and all the fancy packaging. If you're after a gift, these are perfect. If you're after feeding the family, this is better. So the first thing that will happen when you get your mushroom farm, you'll get it home and you'll cut a hole in the side of the bag. We instruct you to cut a wee X, like in the image shown here. You'll notice on my blocks I don't have an X, I have a circle cut. And the reason we can get away with doing that is because these are fruited in my fruiting chambers behind us, where the atmosphere is perfect for mushroom growing. We recommend you cut an X because underneath that X there will be a wee microclimate of humidity and it will help to get a good pin set. So the first stage is the primordial formation. And if we zoom in on this, you'll see the primordia forming on the front of this block here. And it looks like little pinheads. Now that's the mycelium starting to form the fruit body or the mushroom. The second stage is the pin set, and you'll see a good pin set on this box here. That is a really nice pin set there. That's going to produce a lot of good mushrooms. And about 1 to 2 days later, it'll go from looking like that to looking like this. These are the baby mushrooms forming now. These are going to be ready to harvest in about 2 days. Every day they'll nearly double in size. The thing that can slow them down a bit is cold temperatures, so be mindful of that. 2 days later, we'll harvest this, and then we'll keep spraying them with water while we avoid touching the face of it. If you touch the face of the bag or the substrate, you can contaminate it with bacteria and that can hinder mushroom growth. Now, after we've harvested our mushrooms, if we keep spraying, about a week to 10 days later, we'll have a second flush come through. Now, this is the second flush here, and you can see it's not as many mushrooms as the first flush, but it's still a good amount. After you've harvested the second flush, you can tidy the face up with a clean knife, keep spraying, and potentially get a third flush, maybe even a fourth flush. Right, it's been 2 days now, and would you have a look at these mushrooms? Look at them. Oh, don't they just look incredible? You know, they've got a nice size on them, they've got a deep colour, they're absolutely in their prime for picking. And this is our second flush over here. As you can see, just a little bit smaller. These probably should have been picked this morning. Mushrooms grow really, really quickly, so you've got to harvest them at the optimal time. This morning would have been great, but they are still going to taste absolutely amazing. But just look at this flush here, wow. So that there is a first flush, and under optimal conditions, that's what you can expect. What we will do is we will chuck this on our scale. We'll just put our scale there in the middle. You should be able to read the back of it. And what we're going to do to harvest these, it's really easy to harvest mushrooms. You just come from the bottom and you put a bit of pressure upwards. And the whole mushroom bouquet will just pull off the front like that. So there we have our big mushroom bouquet. There's a little bit of wood stuck to the back, but that's fine. And we're going to pop that on our scale, and we're weighing in at 1/2 kilo. So I've just had 1/2 kilo off our first flush. A little of that you won't eat, but that's fine. There's just a little bit of substrate stuck to the back, but we just trim that off. But that's coming in at just over 1/2 kilo. So that's absolutely brilliant for a first flush, and that is going to make an amazing meal. Oh, just look at them. There's a couple of real big guys in here. Oh, they're just going to be tasty. Imagine that on a nice beef burger, right? Big slab of beef, big piece of mushroom on top. Tasty. And then of course we've got our second flush here. With the second flush, I actually like to get a knife. They don't quite pull off as easy as that. I like to get a knife and just whip it in behind there, and they'll come off nicely. So with these boxes, after you've harvested, of course, you take that away and you eat it. It's really tasty. You just make sure there's no big chunks of sort of mushroom mycelium stuck on the walls there. You clean it away, and then you keep spraying that, and you're going to get a second flush come through that box, just like this one here. Oh, look at it, right? Oh, look how tasty it looks. Look how tasty that looks. Let's give you guys a zoom up. Zoom in. Just look at these mushrooms here. You can see there's some really nice big ones on the left here, another big one on the right here. They are some really good quality mushrooms, and they'll make an amazing meal. So that's how our mushroom kits work. If you want a great feed for the family, or perhaps you want a gift for a friend or a loved one, we recommend buying one of these today.